There's going to be huge spoilers in this video for the book The 101 Dalmatians and for the film Cruella. Cruella is a prequel to this 1956 children's book, The 101 Dalmatians. But even still, I think it makes large factual changes to Cruella's character, and I'm going to go through my top 10 now. The first difference is that Cruella in the film likes animals. She has a dog which grows up with her. Whereas in the book, Cruella clearly doesn't like animals. When she says, "But they're mongrels, all white, no spots at all, you must drown them at once," she suggests the dearly should drown the Dalmatian puppies because they aren't perfectly bred, which doesn't seem like the character we have in the film. The fact Cruella likes animals makes it harder to believe that she would kill them for furs. Number 2, dogs seem like props in this film. If the Baroness didn't have 3 Dalmatians, this could be an entirely different film. The dogs don't seem to communicate, they don't seem to howl at twilight like they do in the book, and these are the main themes of the book, that dogs can be sentient and that they can work together, and none of that is really seen. Number 3, there's no Pepper in the film. This might sound strange, but one of the key characterizations of Cruella de Vil in the book is that she really loves pepper, and she tastes of pepper. This is one of the reasons the dogs don't bite her in the book, because she tastes too hot to bite. And she loves putting pepper all over her food, but none of this is ever mentioned in the film, and it's a shame because it would have been easy to drop that in. It's one of the reasons she looks black and white altogether. Number 4, there are no fur coats in Cruella. In the book, Cruella de Vil says, "I wear furs all the year round," and she also says, "I worship furs, I live for furs, that's why I married a furrier." There's one scene where she wears something like a Dalmatian's coat, but we know it's not a Dalmatian's coat because the 3 Dalmatians she's captured are rescued by the Baroness, so it's faux fur, it's not actual animal fur. So it's hard to understand how this film sets up a character who later goes on to wear fur when she never wears it in the film. Number 5, Cruella designs clothes in the movie, but in the book she doesn't seem to have a job and she doesn't seem to design what she wears. Number 6, Cruella in the film doesn't have a husband. Now, she may later get a husband, but the husband's role in the book is to be the furrier who gets her the fur coats, which means that we don't really see the side of Cruella that is involved in wearing fur, which is the whole part of her villainous character, so we don't really see that aspect. Number 7, in the film, de Vil is the name of the car she steals, whereas in the book, it seems like a family name. She says, "My name is still de Vil, I am the last of my family, so I made my husband change his name to mine." In the film, she's not the last of her family because her mother is still alive. And also, she doesn't really have respect for her family lineage, so it seems strange that she would make her husband take the name. Number 8. In the film, Cruella has a childhood friend from school, whereas in the book, she has a childhood enemy from school. Mrs. Dearly in the book doesn't like Cruella. Number 9. Mrs. Dearly in the book has a dog called Missis, but the parallel for Mrs. Dearly in the film has a dog called Perdita. Perdita is an abandoned Dalmatian we find later in the story of the book, but is not the original pair of Dalmatians, which are the main focus of the story. This means that any sequel is not going to be running along the same lines of the Dalmatians working together, so I don't know how this prequel lines up with the book. Number 10, the biggest shock reveal in this film is during the credits, when it's shown that she gifts Pongo and Perdita, Dalmatians which are at the beginning of the story. This means that Cruella would be trying to skin her own dogs. It doesn't add up with the intention that she would want to skin what she gifted to her friends. And while these changes might seem quite slight, I think Cruella as a film radically changes the theme of what the original story is, and I know it's focusing on the villain, but the book has themes on what makes good parenting and what makes for a good marriage and teaches children to trust and understand dogs. The film was fun and entertaining, but I think if it takes this many liberties with the plot, it may as well have just been its own film, because the parts that were the best weren't to do with the book. So it was better than I expected, but if you want to really see what the 101 Dalmatians is about, then you read this because it's way better and it's way different. That's all for now. Happy reading.